Welcome to the Bastard Sermon.
Welcome to another episode of the Bastard Sermon. This is one of your three hosts, Cody Hucker,
Patrick Seta,
and Luke Young. And tonight we have on
Sifu Paul Mason.
And Paul Mason is a practitioner and teacher of Shaolin Wing Chun.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Red Tiger Martial Arts. And we also have on Rachel. What's up, guys? Woo! Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Where's your school located
Thanks for
at?
joining us.
It's in Norwood. It's private residence in Norwood, and hopefully, once I generate enough interest, I'll be able to move out and have a nice commercial space. But just starting out small right now.
So I went out to his class yesterday, and it was intense and fucking cool. I had my jaw dropped almost like half the time. At first I got there and I was like really nervous because I was like, shit, I'm stepping completely out of my comfort zone. And then I get downstairs, and I'm kind of like giggling, and he's Sifu, right? That's how you say it, correct?
That's the title, right?
Right.
So it's like sensei and karate and all that kind of thing.
I was a dumbass, and I said, okay, Sifu. And I said that, and I was like, what the fuck? I almost like facepalmed so hard. And I was like, this dude's about to kick my fucking ass. And we get started, and there was other people that joined. I obviously have no idea what's going on. We have to take our shoes off before we enter it. We have to say, sir, have respect on everybody there. And you have to bow and ask permission to join the mat. It's very interesting, and a lot of self-discipline goes into it, and I think that's awesome. But yeah, we got started, and we started out with this rough-ass workout. I was like, he was like, you do push-ups? I'm like, yeah, I do push-ups. And then we were like doing like a whole workout, body workout right there. And then we get into it, and it's pretty wild. You know more about it. Explain a little bit how this happens.
Well, I'm curious as to what do you mean by wild?
What do you mean?
Because I haven't really, I guess, had this type of feedback from a participant or a student. So it's really good for me too to kind of be on the other end and kind of hear that stuff. So when you say wild, like what do you mean?
Well,
like,
it was wild.
In what way?
Yeah, it's a good question. So it was wild because like when I got there, I didn't know really what to expect at all. So I come downstairs. I'm the only one down there. I'm thinking, am I super early right now? And then everybody else starts getting there. I'm like, oh my God, I hope I don't embarrass myself right now because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And other people had like belts on and shit. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm going to look like a
Pat
dumbass.
goes to bow, just immediately trips over the mat and falls on his
Hit my
face.
head on
Everybody's going to start somewhere, so...
Yeah.
But, so aside from the basic on time and it's kind of initial insecurity, what like I don't know. I mean, because to me, like I've been involved in martial arts for 10 years, so it's not it isn't wild to me, I guess, or it isn't. You know, it's a Monday, I guess.
It's an old hat,
right? Well, I wouldn't say it's old hat, or else I wouldn't keep doing it, but. It's part of my, I guess it's part of my routine, right? Or part of my lifestyle.
I would say it defines a lot about who you are, you know? Not saying that's you're known as Mr. Karate, Mr. Martial Arts, but it just your passions and what you care about, and you spend a whole lot of time on it.
Disciplined.
You know? It's not like a job. It's what you love doing, you know?
Right.
So I feel like that defines on who you are, what you love doing. You know, at least in my opinion.
Okay.
So the wild experience I had is like everybody gets there. We start doing all kinds of like I don't remember all the technical terms. We were doing like the poses, like human stance.
Right. So like postures, like fighting stances and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like how you have to balance yourself and you have to keep your hands up at all times. That was a lot harder than it seemed, at least in my mind. Like, oh shit, you got to constantly think. And then it just getting more and more in tune. I thought when we started like doing punches, like jab, cross, hook. And like the earth pose and stuff, I was like, holy shit, this is a fuck ton of adrenaline that's going through me right now. It's exciting. My knuckles still kind of hurt a little bit. It was, I definitely feel worn out from it. It was a good feeling. Afterwards, I felt very fresh and more confident in a way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope I didn't.
I mean, for the record,
the whole
Patrick, if he is kind of a natural. like, you know, I've seen a lot of first classes and a lot of introductory classes, and Patrick did very, very well with the level of instruction that I provided. So, yeah, for what that's worth. I don't want your head to get too big, you know.
For you to say that in the midst of all this.
And you got that fan club and everything. It was
my God.
Yeah, don't get a fan club over it.
But you did well, right? And
that was fun.
And it was so much fun. Right, I could tell you kind of kept an open mind about it, and that's really the thing. Like, if you have an open mind, we kind of want to nurture that and help you appreciate new experiences. If you don't, if you got some hang-ups, some insecurities, some anxiety, we want to help people get over that too.
There was one part where you were coming, we were doing, there was some guy who's a yellow belt there, right. And I guess the highest level person that's there is doing he has to basically take your beatings the whole class.
Well, he doesn't have to, but he's used to it, and he'll give, like,
his
he
face
follows
is so
directions,
red
right?
when you go at him. And it's like, my jaw drops when I saw you go and, like, take him down. So, like, explain a little bit in what you're doing there.
In general, or
like how
is there a specific instance like, you're talking about, or
for example, when you're doing these moves, like there's times where you are completely taking him to the ground, or you're like demonstrating, like what if someone comes up to you like this and you're like putting your hands around his neck or something, or you're pushing him up against the wall, like that's got to be intense as fuck. Because I remember you coming at me and I'm like, oh my God, dude, like I didn't know what to do.
Okay, so that's a good question. So you know, I'll show things and have these examples and let that gentleman Cameron, like I use him because he is a little bit more experienced and we work well together. I want to illustrate, you know, when I was pushing him up against the wall and that kind of thing, I want to illustrate, you know, like what could really happen, you know, because a lot of times, you know, you'll see these demos and videos of martial arts on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, and maybe the guy will throw a punch or grab somebody and then just kind of be really static, like the aggressor or attacker will just be static, and then it looks really good for the demonstrator because they get off like, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 techniques, and you know they're really fluid, but it's not real.
Shitty fake martial arts things on YouTube are my favorite. I love watching those fucking idiots just like pretend to show you how to disarm a guy with 3 guns and he's got a fucking blade in his ass crack or something like that.
Now that being said, I don't want to I guess color your experience watching that things, because sometimes you do have to, depending on your audience, you do have to slow things down.
Oh yeah.
But if you're framing it, if you're pre-framing a demo
like
as
what
being
could
like
happen,
real life. And it's not real life, then that's a problem.
I think it's very important that you do that. It's just crazy to watch.
You're simulating the actual event. You're putting them in that type of mind frame, you know, instead of just like I'm going to do this. They know it's happening.
Right.
But
of course, we want to practice. So a saying that I've heard and I like is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So yes, we want to practice things slowly, and eventually through practice it'll become second nature, and you will be able to move quickly, which is the idea, because things happen like when somebody gets into what we call your trapping range, your personal space. Things can happen very quickly. So we want to condition the proper response. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. Absolutely. It makes complete sense on why you do it, too. Because even in the military, people have to get, like, if they're going to use a taser or learn how to use a taser or pepper spray, they have to get pepper sprayed or tasered first. And someone told me today, which was crazy, is that, I'm not going to say his name, but he was in the military for, like, 18 years or some shit. And he said, basically, that they had these tests they had to make him go through where they had to sit in these gas tanks that had tear gas in them, and that was god awful. Unless you had sinus issues, that would be you fly through it, which is no problem. But they make you stay in there and they make you breathe it in. But they also have these, like, you ever heard of these satellite dishes that shoot these rays at you that make you instantly sick? Have you ever heard of those?
No.
There's this. No. It's like a sonic weapon of some sort. But it's not like enough to make you explode or some shit.
Does it make you shit yourself?
Yeah, it makes you vomit. So they said that they would go around in these Humvees and like shoot this satellite dish at random people going by, and they just throw up. And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Hold on, are you telling me the U.S. government is just whipping around towns, hitting people with sonic beams, making?
They probably shouldn't. That's why I'm not going to say his name.
I think Pat fell asleep watching cartoons last night.
But he also told me that there's one that's a microwave kind of satellite gun. I don't know exactly what it's called, but if you look this up, you'll find it. But it shoots like it makes your body temperature heat up to 104 degrees. But so you could be sitting there and you'd be having like a sweats and you're like, oh my god, I feel horrible.
Hold on.
Take one step to your right and you feel instantly better.
I think I know where you're going with this. Were you going to ask Paul if he can, with his Wing Chun, use his mind to generate these waves to disorientate and?
Could you make someone shit themselves by staring at them?
Not by staring at
He is a massive dude. I imagine if he was staring at you and just like really looking like he's about to fuck you up, somebody might shit themselves real fast. Like, I want to fight him in a bar.
I can hit you in the liver, but I don't know what that does. It causes temporary paralysis, but I don't know if that'll make you shit yourself.
Let me ask you this. Is there a move around that you make you shit yourself?
Could you find one out?
I'm actually sure there is. I mean,
can you Google that right now? Karate moves that make you shit yourself.
I think that's got to be. I mean, you could hit somebody in the gut and make them shit themselves, but there's no like those fucking 2-finger techniques where they touch your neck and they fall over dead. That's all fake bullshit.
The 5-finger automatic shit.
But on the other hand, so you know, back in the old days, the people that could heal you are also the same people that could hurt you. So if you buy into acupuncture and acupressure, that kind of thing, so you know they'll put pressure on different points or put needles in certain places to help you help an ailment, right? So it logically it works the other way. You could put a needle or press a pressure point and it could cause you a lot of damage.
Have you ever heard of sounding?
No.
Sounding is when you Cody, you explain it.
Sounding is where you take metal instruments and they vary in diameter. Some are small, some are gigantic, and you insert it into the urethra of the penis. And it is named.
Well, it gives you such an intense orgasm, you just explode.
Pat knows because he tries it every morning.
He's exploded every morning.
Sounding.
Yeah, have you ever heard of sounding before?
I haven't heard of it.
I mean, I've watched it. I didn't know the technical
give you
name.
An orgasm? Is that really?
I don't think
that's like a tuning fork. I mean, you hit it with a like a.
Oh my!
Oh, you want to see a video? Here, we'll show you a video demonstration.
Sounding?
Isn't there a video with two braces walking up to like a metal pole, banging it?
I'm not actually going to look it up.
Repeatedly.
It seems like it'd be a real uncomfortable thing to watch for my penis specifically. I just don't want to think about things being inserted into my urethra.
Yeah, we park our cars in the same garage.
But not metal.
Why did we bring up sounding?
Penis.
Why did we bring up sounding?
Yeah,
because you were talking about acupuncture, and it just made me think of sounding.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
acupuncture.
What
fucking urethra.
What's the point of sounding?
People get off on it.
To have the most intense orgasm you've ever had in your whole life.
Some people like
you do that and finger their asshole.
The technology you were talking about sounds ludicrous, but didn't they just like prove and provide that the FBI does have technology where they can read the vibrations off of windows to monitor what exactly you and whoever you're talking to is saying on the other side?
For sure, I bet that's a real thing.
I'm pretty sure
I guarantee that's a real. I bet it's expensive, but I bet it's real.
That's nuts.
Rays that make you slick.
And if that's real, I mean, it's not too far off to say they've got some sort of.
How much are your windows rattling? Where they could like?
I'm gonna have.
Are they catching the sound waves?
It's not essentially rattling. Yeah, it's the sound waves themselves.
Dude,
I searched it. Some video game shit came up instantaneously. Pat, get the fuck out of here with
Dude, I'll have to get the name. I'll get the name.
Friends and shit.
I wish I had the dude's number.
Fuck out of here, bro.
He told me about it.
All right, back to Paul really quickly. So, as I understand it, Wing Chun is it's the style of martial arts that Ip Man he practiced and then passed on to Bruce Lee, and that Jackie Chan is famous for knowing and stuff like that. So it's that brand of kung fu, right? It all comes back to like China originally, right?
Those are all true statements.
Is there some sort of variant with Shaolin being added to it?
If you guys want to learn about it, actually, I want to plug Paul's website. Go to Red Tiger SWC, and you can go to his lineage section where there's a whole Shaolin Wing Chun history, and he'll break down all the information that you need to know about it. It's a nice website, and if you want to follow Paul on Instagram, there's a Red Tiger _SWC, and on Facebook it's Red Tiger Martial Arts Ming's, am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, exactly.
Ming's, MENGS-SWC, to find him on Facebook if you want to follow him.
Right.
But Paul, take it over. I just wanted to plug you real quick.
He had a question.
I noticed, are there bow staffs? Do you teach some sort of weaponry too?
There's some weapons involved, yes.
That's fucking awesome. Man, you might make a student out of me, bud.
Yeah, I encourage anybody to check it out. So, but yeah, to answer the question, there's a ton of different lineages, Wing Chun lineages, just like there's tons of different karate styles and Taekwondo styles and that kind of thing. So the reason why we call it Shaolin is not because we're especially acrobatic or we're mystical or any of that stuff. It goes back to the teaching methodology that they used in the Shaolin Temple and the fact that the art, the true origin of the art, originated in the Shaolin Temple after the end of the Ming Dynasty, after the Ming Dynasty was overthrown. Now that can be a kind of a controversial statement. There's some legends and some other origin stories of the art I won't really get into, but if anybody tells me that or contests me, then I'll just say, that's, thank you, thanks for your knowledge. But from our perspective, the perspective of my organization, Wing Chun originated in the Shaolin Temple, and we use the teaching methodology that was there too. So that's why we call it Shaolin Wing Chun.
That's awesome. That's really interesting.
I thought something that was very interesting as well is like while you were showing me how to do some of these moves and how to block and stuff, I don't know if it's silly to think, but I was thinking, oh my God, like the moves in the movies like make total sense now.
Right.
Like I can totally see it, because I never thought it was like, no, this is crazy, ridiculous how fast these people are moving, but it makes sense like if you just get a certain groove with it.
Right. So that's one thing we address in the art. So there's early on we let people know, look, there's 5 different martial arts activities. There's self-improvement, health, self-defense, combat, sports, games, arts, and entertainment. And so the thing about the movies is you're not going to see, it's not realistic to, like the Yip Man movies, it looks great. A lot of those techniques are super legit, but to maintain that range, the trapping range, for an extended period of time is super unrealistic. That's why you don't see conflicts happen in MMA that much in that range, because people either want to dance back out where they can kick and they can strike, or they want to close the gap so they can do takedowns and take the fight to the ground. Mm-hmm. So Wing Chun happens in a very specific time frame. So the idea is in that range though, you can move maximally efficiently in that range. You can use the least amount of energy and get the most amount of impact. But things happen so fast in that range, you have to employ some of that Shaolin philosophy, living in the moment, living in the here and now, which that moment can be infinitesimally small, right? So it's you have to work on really like your internal, it's a meditative mindset, that kind of thing.
Right. I definitely think when you go to these experiences like yoga or martial arts or anything like specific body movement, it's a spiritual kind of thing, so you have to make yourself be open to it. So yeah, it was. I felt like at first it just was. I was anxious to get started because I didn't know what I was getting into. Yeah. But once everybody else got there, and after like the first warm up, and we started doing a couple things, I was like totally open to it, and I was just in the moment, and it was awesome. Cool. It was crazy. So, have you ever had to use those skills, these particular set of skills that you have on anyone
in real life?
Yeah. When was the last time you kicked someone's ass, Paul?
I imagine not a lot of people are trying to fight Paul. I mean, fucking look at him. He's like, he seems like a really nice guy.
But not like in a bad way, but like your nieces and nephews call you monster. Why do they do that?
I don't know.
That's stupid.
They're little kids. I mean, what do they know? I mean,
yeah, I got you.
But
big, strong guy.
Using it in real life. I mean, personally, in just real life, I haven't had to use it since I've been in the art. I've been in fights before. Before I started taking martial arts, and in fact, like I credit martial arts keeping me from getting in fights, because I would. I think before I started, I think if somebody, I don't know, I don't know what I would do, man. Like if I didn't take martial arts, I had a lot of anger issues, just plain and simple. So I think it's helped me not get in fights. But some of the life skill things, like I guess some guy was like casing us and following us around at Findlay Market one time, and just a situational awareness, knowing where to go, like you cross the street, go to a public place and stuff like that to kind of throw him off the trail. Just stuff like that I've used. Acquaintances at parties that try to get too grabby and drunk guys hang on you and stuff. I've used some of the
Didn't you say that happened recently?
Yeah, some of the joint locks to kind of, well, not recent, no, this was probably like years ago. I've used some of the joint locks to kind of like get them to leave me alone, just light pressure and stuff like that. But I did have a student one time, his name's James, and he actually had to use something that I taught him in a real life situation. He was telling me that he was walking back from a bar in Middletown, and he was walking back to his car, which was parked on the street, and he passed by a house, and he didn't know whether it was a case of mistaken identity or not, but he said that someone ran out of the house with a baseball bat and ran up to him and swung it at him. So typically, this is kind of, I guess, hard to do over audio or whatever, but like typically I would tell him to step in, and there's a I guess not a block, but kind of a counter to that, where you make contact with the arm to try to prevent yourself from getting hit, and then that buys you time to counterattack or whatever. But he did it, and he got hit in the forearm, but that helped him not get hit in the head. And so another thing is you'll wrap your arm around the bat or the other person's arm, and then he was hitting him. So he told me, he said, yeah, I did exactly what you told me. I got hit in the forearm, but I didn't feel it at the time, and I just kept hold of the bat and started hitting him until his friends came out of the house. And so, but like those hits that he was able to get off bought him a little time so I could sprint to his car. Right, and so that's typically.
Did they chase him to his car?
I think they did. They did. Well, I don't know how far they chased him, but they definitely, ran out to the house. I mean, anybody would do that, whether your buddy's right or wrong. If you see your buddy getting, like, beat in the face with, by somebody, you're gonna run out.
Reaction.
Yeah, you're gonna run out there. So that made me kind of happy that he was able to use something that I taught him. So. Yeah, so that's
rad.
That's really cool.
That was pretty fulfilling.
I don't know though. If I saw my friend with a bat losing a fight, like one-on-one, like I don't know if I want to step in. That guy can clearly handle himself. He has a bat and he's losing. I sure as shit ain't winning.
Yeah. So.
Well, the dude's not fucking Donnie Yen. As soon as 3 people run out, he's not gonna be fucking wheel kicking people in the face and grabbing trash can lids.
He might.
But imagine you're inside a house, you look outside, Pat's got a bat on someone, but they got their arm wrapped around it, and he's on his knees, and they're just socking him in the face.
You know what?
Over and over again.
If fucking Pat's angry enough to pull a bat on somebody, Pat's super nice and has dealt with a lot of. I put Pat through some crazy bullshit a couple of times, and he's never once hit me or pulled a bat out. If Pat's angry enough to fight somebody and he's losing with this bat, I'm gonna help Pat out. Trust me.
Well, thanks,
I've got Pat's back.
I appreciate it.
I don't know about you. You're gonna be sitting back laughing like you normally do when he's telling his injury stories. And look at you laughing right now, just thinking about Pat being injured by somebody.
Paul, you back me up, right?
What's that now?
You back me up, right, Paul?
In what situation?
If I'm
Patrick wielded a bat on someone.
I mean, you're my student, so I gotta back you up.
Oh my God,
that's not what I was saying.
You hear that, everybody? If you fuck with me, you're gonna have to mess with Paul.
Yeah.
And Cody.
But you won't have to mess with Luke. Don't worry about that. Luke will be firmly inside, nice and air conditioned, not breaking a sweat except for
scary,
laughing. He'll only be
that scary.
He'll only be out of breath from the laughter. There'll be no fucking.
He might get a cramp in his side from all the laughter.
Yeah, he'll be done for the fight just from the cramp of laughing.
I had a question about
thanks, Luke.
About martial arts in general.
Yes,
is Wing Chun the only thing that you practice, or do you get into like any jiu-jitsu or judo?
I actually do a little bit of eskrima, also known as Kali or Arnis. That's a Filipino martial art, and they start out with the weapons first, and typically they start out with like sticks. Like fighting with sticks, so Filipino stick fighting. So I do a bit of that as well.
Right on.
But I've done Western fencing like a long time ago, but that's the extent of the martial arts.
What drew you to these specific types of martial arts?
That's a good question. So originally when I started taking martial arts, I began because I went to the Arnold Classic, the Arnold Fitness Expo in Columbus, started by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they have a martial arts competition there.
Did you meet him?
I did not meet him.
Did you beat his ass?
Do you think you could beat his ass? Is he
okay?
Is he just strong?
He's pretty old now.
Listen, is Arnold Schwarzenegger just strong, or does he actually know how to fight? Have you ever seen him?
Patrick is a 71-year-old man.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
old.
Ever though? I'm just saying ever. Do you think he ever practiced?
He's been in so
arts?
many action movies. I'm sure you have to pick up something.
Well, you watch Steven Seagal. Look up a
have to
Steven
pick up
Seagal
something.
fighting video, because that's some garbage. How do you feel about Steven Seagal?
Oh, I didn't answer the other question. You want me to answer the other question?
Yeah,
first?
answer the other question.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
so I'm up at this expo, and they have a martial arts tournament, a bunch of different system styles represented. So I saw the Filipino stick fighting stuff going on, and that kind of spoke to me because my mom's from the Philippines, and I don't speak the language, I don't cook the food, so I wanted to do something that was culturally relevant to my background. And it ended up I found a place in Cincinnati where at that time they were teaching both arts, the Wing Chun and the Eskrima, and so that's basically why I started doing it.
If I'm not wrong, Eskrima, like the sticks are about this big, right?
They're
and
about,
typically
how long is that?
two-handed.
They're 28 inches usually.
For the viewers at home, Luke said this big.
Yeah.
They're
No,
this
I
big,
didn't.
Mom.
I did this long.
Yeah.
How
No,
long is
didn't-
that for the listeners?
The point is, Luke, that you're holding your hands up on a very not visual podcast.
I never thought about it.
Yeah, that was
really
the point.
funny.
That she
I'm hot, bitch.
And yeah, most of the systems are emphasize the double sticks. The one I was drawn to is a single stick, so you can use your free hand to parry or have another weapon in it like a knife or something like that.
I'm a single dick man guy myself. I like to use the other hand for the ball. Wait, stick. I'm sorry, we were talking about a different thing.
Wow. Cody.
All right.
Anyways, does that answer
Well,
your question?
I gotta try to interject something funny. It absolutely does.
So I want to show you Steven Seagal, and I want to know what you think about Steven Seagal fighting a 4th degree grandmaster.
Okay.
How many? Watch out, Luke.
I like that Steven Seagal still dyes his goatee.
Oh,
That's my favorite part.
Steven
about
Seagal looks like a fucking disaster in this video. Just from the back. Look, he's all out of breath just from moving left
this
to
is
right.
just a demo. So I mean, the techniques are legit.
he's doing them so quick. I don't know.
it. I can barely see them.
Is that real?
Bro, he
that's
barely
real.
moves his body, though.
Well, that's the idea. You don't, when you're that close to someone, you don't want a lot of big movements. Anytime you execute a technique, anytime you strike or whatever, you leave an opening. So when he's close to somebody, the idea is quickness, it's efficiency. So he's attacking the joints really. And
Yeah, but I just saw him throw himself up into the air. That had nothing to do with how he moved. I get that
He
it's a
looked
demo,
like he
but
jumped
like
right there.
that actual him moving like that wouldn't do anything. The dude did jump.
So
'cause
he's doing that. He's doing that for safety because if he doesn't jump,
Break his
he'll get
wrist or
hurt.
some shit?
Right. And so what he's doing, so he's initiating the jump because he doesn't want to actually have his joints attacked. And then how he ends it, it's called a break fall. So it's just him falling safely. So this is
you
just a
think that's
demonstration.
all,
So you
like,
think all of
planned,
these
though?
movements are real? Like he's doing everything correctly?
The techniques are legit. Whether he can pull them off in a live environment, that's a different
Gotcha.
question.
Do you
Steven
think this
Seagal
is
in
like
this-
a staged thing, like
it's Steven Seagal.
They've
guy.
done
You gotta-
this together.
This is a stage. So this is an instructional, just kind of a hey, this is just a snapshot of.
I want to see
my
Seagal
martial
in a
art.
real fight.
But this video looks like Steven Seagal just got out of his car after eating a whole bag of shredded cheese. Like he just eating shredded cheese out the bag in his car.
I mean-
came in here like, wow, all right, it's time to do.
Well, I'm here.
Could
Well,
be,
now I'm gonna, and he just like barely tosses his arms, and now I'm gonna, and then he like tosses his arms again,
But
like they're not.
You know, maybe Paul's right. Like, and I mean, he's the expert here. We're not. Maybe he is just so good at what he does. He just has to do next to no effort whatsoever.
And to be fair to Cody's point, the person that's actually being demonstrated on, he might be exaggerating a little bit, either to really minimize his injury to himself, or maybe he just really wants to make Seagal look good. Maybe Seagal told him, make me look good, because that happens too. But there is some truth to the techniques themselves.
I just want to point out that Cody pulled up Steven Seagal's best fight scenes, and and I'm actually pretty pumped to watch because there are some good movies with him in it, dude. I like them personally.
Name them, Pat. Name the movies.
Under Siege.
Bullshit.
That was a good one.
0 out of 10.
What was the one that was on the plane? I liked them. I was a kid, man. I bet if I watch them now, I'd probably age horribly. Do you think you could beat? Do you think you could beat?
Why do you keep asking these questions? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You think you can fight Arnold Schwarzenegger, a guy that's not at all known for martial arts, or you think you could beat up a fat old fucking not still training Steven Seagal?
I mean, if he's not training, gosh, if he's not
what if he
conditioned,
just ate a bunch of cheese out of a bag?
Paul, no bullshit. If Goku was a real person, you think you could whip his ass?
I mean, how do I get powers? I mean, that's
you go Super Paul Saiyan.
Oh my God, this is.
Would you rather fight Goku or fit 12 sticks of butter up your ass?
Yeah, exactly. This is like where we're going with that. Ask him if he could beat up Steven Seagal.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, I know they're ridiculous questions, and they're probably the questions you probably don't want to hear at all. But I'm going to ask you anyways.
Bro, if King Kong was actually a real fucking...
If you had to pick between fighting Steven Seagal and Arnold Schwarzenegger in their prime, who you picking?
probably Schwarzenegger.
And why is that?
Because he was a bodybuilder. He's just a big guy. He was just a big guy.
Mm-hmm. Right? You don't think he knew how to fight?
To my knowledge, he had not trained in any martial art. Now, some guys are born just knowing how to fight. Like some guys they know how to fight, right? Maybe it's their genetics, or maybe it's just their environment. But as far as I know, Schwarzenegger was just a guy that had a lot of muscle hypertrophy. And can eat well and lift a lot, right?
Take a lot of steroids.
To my knowledge, Seagal actually trained, and he's endorsed by Aikido masters in Japan. So, yeah, I would definitely I'd pick Schwarzenegger for sure.
Seagal seems pretty legit. Like, I feel like you guys are going to out to make Seagal not legit.
You know what? After hearing Paul's thoughts, I'm kind of thinking the same now. So I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry, Paul.
Well, to your point though, he has said a lot of crazy stuff in interviews though, and
what has
talked
he
about how he was in the CIA and all this stuff. So he does kind of blend. He kind of perpetuates his own myth.
Seagal says that.
So
he said some crazy stuff. So I think he has had legit martial arts training, and he probably, I guess he's a master level, and he probably deserves to be that level, but. I mean, at the end of the day, you could be a master. Are you a good, 3 different ways. If you're a good fighter, if you're a good teacher, or, actually, those are really the only 2 ways, I guess.
There's only 2?
Yeah, or maybe if you've done a lot if you've did a lot of contributions to the art. And to my knowledge, I don't know how Seagal is as a teacher. I don't know really how he is as a fighter, but by bringing martial arts, into the media, and especially Aikido, he's done a lot for martial arts. So
that's a good point. I know Sylvester Stallone was an actual boxer before he was in Rocky,
right?
And that's always interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I always saw on the internet, just to change the subject of not off of martial arts but into this. Every time that these dudes end up going up against people that do MMA, something where they're balancing striking through maybe boxing, or they do fucking kickboxing or whatever the fuck, and then jiu-jitsu, they usually fucking get destroyed a lot of the time.
Yes, that's a good point. So let's just watch a little bit of this guy, and I want to address that because that is a very good question, a very good point.
And I've also noticed that a lot of UFC fighters, they don't. I guess there's a couple that specialize in karate or Tai Chi or Wing Chun, but it's dominated by dudes that are practicing MMA and stuff like that.
What are you looking at right now?
Okay.
This is Wing Chun dude versus the
and just
MMA
give
guy.
him the play-by-play because I can't see it too well from the microphone and stuff, but just let him know what's going on.
The Wing Chun dude's kicking the guy's fucking ass.
No, he's letting him hit him. He's not. He's letting him hit him a bunch of times. He's hitting him, and he's just standing there because the punches aren't effective on the guy.
The Wing Chun guy is getting his clock cleaned for the most part.
This guy. And is this Tai Chi or Wing Chun? Because the other one that I saw with the same MMA Chinese fighter, that he always goes up against him. He's in trouble with the Chinese government right now because I think that Tai Chi is it's something that everybody has to practice, mandatory that everybody practices in China or whatever, and they recognize it as the the best like fighting style or whatever, and this dude just comes and starts fucking people up left and right on this thing. I wouldn't be good about giving a play-by-play. I don't know dick about martial arts.
Okay, so I'll kind of narrate. You've got a Wing Chun guy assuming this classical posture. You got an MMA guy assuming a kind of just a brawler, kind of a street fighter stance, and he keeps knocking this Wing Chun guy down, and it's just brutal with these brutal punches. And I'll kind of address.
And he's like mocking him, kind of. He's not really like he's like walking away from him, turning his back to him, being really disrespectful during the fight. Right. Just kind of like making him like, hey, I can do whatever the fuck I want to you. You could literally punch me in the face 30 times, and I'm just gonna hit you once, and you'll fall right back down.
Yep. All right, so
he's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, he's getting his clock cleaned.
We get the idea.
Okay, so a couple things going on here. So when we talk about MMA is like the best case scenario for balancing how to test your skill safely and live. Because if you go 100% like live environment, like live combat, it's not safe. If you go 100% safe, it's not really live combat. So MMA is the best we can get, right? So these guys in MMA, you kind of brought up the fact that they train like these different styles. A lot of people say that MMA started in Brazil with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
The Gracie brothers.
Right, and in the early days, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys cleaned house. Not because Jiu-Jitsu is better than any other system or style, but because these guys tested their skill regularly against all walks of life. So they were able to make the modifications they needed to the formal expression. They were able to get like that. There's no substitute for experience, right? And
those guys used to sit down on the beach. I forget the dude's name, but whoever was the patriarch of the whole family would sit down on the beach.
Yeah. Royce Gracie.
Yeah. And he would sit down there and challenge people. He'd be like, if you think that whatever your style of fighting is, whatever it is better than my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I offer you to come to my school and challenge me and then see what. And he would kick everybody's fucking ass, and everybody was like, holy shit, what have I been practicing? I need to learn what you're doing because you just fucking choked me out in like 0.5 seconds, and I've been practicing this other bullshit for 5 years. So, but not to call your thing bullshit, but it just like that dude's level in that dude's system, and the one that he's developed and trained in, the one that they use to this day is such high level that it was just fucking whip everybody.
And so you've got those guys down there. So, people started, to your point, taking jiu-jitsu, taking Brazilian jiu-jitsu specifically, and then the Gracies. You didn't hear about the Gracies so much anymore because people adapted.
They're still around. There's still a bunch of schools that are going around.
Yes, there's a ton of schools, but as far as like elite competition, it's not like it was. They weren't cleaning house and dominating at the most elite level, right? And I'm not taking anything away from them. It's just people adapted. Okay, so your Muay Thai fighters, your boxers, your street fighters, whoever, they started learning some of that ground game. All right, so you've got this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The other common system trained in MMA is Muay Thai. And so Muay Thai is a sport from Thailand, right?
It's all about kicking, right?
It's close range too, but it's knees, elbows, low kicks, punches, that kind of thing.
These dudes would kick banana trees, like their shins and shit like that, and then fucking get micro fractures, so that their legs would be like steel bars inside of their skin.
Right. So you've got these jiu-jitsu guys challenging people. Even Western wrestling, that's a sport that's in high school. That's tested. Muay Thai. So most of your MMA guys, they do like Muay Thai, BJJ, wrestling. Some Western boxing is a sport. So when we talk about Wing Chun, there's no Wing Chun sport, right? A lot of Wing Chun guys, they just end up going against guys that do their same thing, and so they're kind of in this bubble. They don't get the real experience. There are a few Wing Chun, maybe a couple here and there that get that real experience, that do okay.
So you're saying, if I understand your point correctly, is that since nobody's really tried to refine it against other styles, it's never been able to develop to the level that other things are, and that's why these other systems are dominating. Not because they're better, but because they're more actively practiced in an environment.
That's kind of part of it. So if we take a look, the guy here, he exhibited some like formal postures, but he was just, I mean, he couldn't get any hits off because he wasn't, like, from the Shaolin perspective, he wasn't living in reality. And I don't know if that picked up. He wasn't living in reality, right? He put that hand out, and he didn't have anything from there. He didn't know how to go against anybody in the long striking range. Right. So I can hear myself, but I don't know.
Sorry about that. Can you hear better?
He was messing with the headphone thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So still good.
So yeah, this guy he wasn't dealing with the reality at hand. If you've got somebody in long striking range just dropping these bombs, you have to know how to deal with that. And he only knows up close, and he probably doesn't know how to deal with somebody with truly, truly bad intentions. So his long striking game was non-existent. He definitely didn't have any kicking game. So he just got the snot kicked out of him. So that's what we try to do in our organization. It's going to be a massive effort, but I think it's going to happen one day. We want to integrate Wing Chun into these into like your MMA type competitions. Now it's not going to be like in the movies. Nobody's going to stay there for an extended period of time, but it's going to be a technique here and there because it's such an uncomfortable range to be in, right? But if we can use somebody's momentum that charges in against them, and we get good shots off, we're able to submit them or knock them out. That's great. If we're able to stuff a takedown or not be able to take down on the ground and be able to just get some techniques, that'll be key. If you see like one Wing Chun technique in a MMA fight, that'll be huge. But right now, not enough people are practicing it, and they're not practicing it in a realistic manner. So that's why you see a lot of these guys get beat up, because the system's solid. It's the fighter. It's the way they train, right? And
that's why you do the hands-on the experience type of feel instead of the, as you were saying, static preset settings.
Right. And it I actually gave a seminar at a Taekwondo school this past weekend, and I had a guy come up to me and he said, I saw judo, I saw aikido, I saw wrestling, I saw taekwondo when you were giving your demonstrations. And so a lot of people, they like to put things in these little boxes. So the goal of this system is to say it's all of that and none of that. It's just it's long kicking range, it's long striking range, it's trapping range, it's grappling range. Like, the time and the space dictates what you're going to do. It's just like you guys play music, is that right?
I play music.
I play music, but I don't really play in bands anymore or anything.
So it's like whatever the drummer does, that's going to dictate what the bass player does, what dictates the guitar player does. So it's time and space. So that's what we're dealing with. It's not I don't want to match techniques. I can't tell you like, well, if somebody does this, then you do this. It's all relative. It's all like, keep your hands up, live in the moment, and act accordingly to your time and space. Whatever you practice the most, that's what's going to come out. Right? Does that make sense?
Do you ever get frustrated with students, though?
All the time. I mean, never.
Were you frustrated with me?
No. No, the frustrating thing about anytime I've gotten frustrated with students is when the student sabotages themselves, right? If I have a student that doesn't believe in their abilities, or does like self-destructive, behavior, that's the kind of thing that's frustrating. But it's never like a technical thing, because all this stuff, all the physical stuff, I mean, that's the easy part, really.
Mm-hmm. That's also
it's getting out past your own head.
No, that makes complete sense. It's probably mostly more mental than physical, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're all right. People do it all the time. Just don't drop the coasters, because every time that happens, it's all fucking loud and shit. Yeah, man. Thanks for breaking all this down for us and stuff like that.
It was really interesting.
Yeah, it's incredibly interesting.
This is the first time we've actually like sat down and interviewed a guest. Like normally we're like, yeah, so Paul's
shit.
on.
Talk about
Anyways,
shit.
Yeah. So I took a shit this morning. I mean, I could feel it brewing since I went to bed the night before. Yeah.
Can we talk about shit now? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Paul, are you comfortable talking about poop?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay,
wait, I was thinking we're almost at our normal break point. We could put a pin in it. I can go get a cigarette, and then we could finish up with the...
Yeah,
No?
we could do that. Let's do a real quick break.
Okay, cool.
All right, we'll be right back, folks.
We're back, and we're going to start with some fuckery. Pat, take it over.
Before we went to the break, we were talking about some crazy poop. We wanted to talk about poop, which is our favorite subject to talk about on this show. But
it's one of our 3 subjects. It's like pornography, poop, horrible fights.
Yeah, awful things. But Rachel had a bad morning this week, and can you explain a little bit on what happened?
Yeah, so I woke up around 5 in the morning one night just by chance, and I ran downstairs. I walked.
She sprinted downstairs.
I didn't run.
With emergency.
I walked casually down the stairs, and I had my hand on the handrail for my bedroom downstairs. I was going to the bathroom. And as I'm like holding the handrail going down the stairs, I feel this like cold, wet goop. And I was like,
goop.
I was like,
Patrick, did you come on the banister again?
No, it wasn't like that. It was like, it was like shit. I was like, is that shit? I turned the light on.
Smell it?
No, I turned the light on, and there's just shit all over my hand because one of the cats had positioned themselves on the top railing. And
shit down the rail of the
shit down, like shit onto the rail beneath it.
Oh god, damn!
They would have to have hovered right over like that ledge right there.
This ledge is like probably what 3 inches thick or some width or whatever.
Yeah, it's really small. It's probably not even 3 inches. It's probably like an inch.
It's kind of
that they had to have.
It's impressive.
On.
It's impressive. Yeah, it's kind of impressive that she was able to mount all 4 legs on such a small surface and take it down comfortably.
Here's the thing: like I looked around for more turds, and there were no more turds, and I was like. How did they just get one single little like bloop?
What are the chances?
Onto the railing. Like, what are the fucking odds?
Your cats are pranksters, dude.
Like one of those contraptions where you drop
horrible.
a domino and it triggers a chain reaction. Maybe the cat was on the ceiling fan. It took a shit. Somebody turned it on. It flung over by the railing, fell down through the railing, tumbled all the way down, hit the other railing, and tumbled all the way down, and somehow boiled a pot of water.
It was just.
At first, I thought that the cat had shit more and Patrick hadn't cleaned it up all the way. But then, like, not to throw you under the bus, because it didn't make any sense. There was one little tiny turd on the railing.
So you thought that I didn't? You thought I just would like? Oh, I'm just gonna leave that in the railing. Like you thought I wouldn't clean up all the shit?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
Does that say something to your character?
Oh my
you
God.
maybe you would have missed it.
Pat does seem like the
it
kind
was
of guy that would
kinda
halfway
hidden.
clean up shit, get distracted, and completely forget it was there.
I'll get it later.
Yeah, whatever.
I definitely would have told you about that. Like I would have woke you up in the middle of the night. Like you will never believe what just happened. There's shit on our handrail.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that was it really, but it was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
I wanted to talk about that. Here, let's go up to one of our first videos. So this video is called Cannonball. Basically, it's a guy jumping out of what looks like a pontoon boat with his butt cheeks
slow
out.
motion.
And as he's doing it, a turd's going out of his ass into the
That
lake.
is a giant log, sir.
No, it was fluid. You can see it's broken in 2 parts.
Can you see this, Paul?
No, bro,
Yeah,
look.
yeah,
It has a mighty
He slows it
splash
down.
as it hits the ground.
The
or hit
thing
the
is,
water.
though, it looks like it's going to float into his back as he rises up.
100% it is. This dude is covered in his
That's
own
like
shit when he
diarrhea.
comes out
Like
of here.
I feel like you can't just force a hard log out of your ass at that
This
speed.
must have been
Floats
planned.
forward.
He was running with his shorts down.
It was
Like,
planned, but do you
Well,
think
yeah.
do you think he had like diarrhea? You cannot force a shit out of
No.
a whole shit. That's a massive shit.
That's a
out of
firm
your
log.
ass in like the speed of you hitting the water.
This dude is eating Nutri-Grain bars all day long, kale shakes, MCT oil. This motherfucker is well lubed up because that wasn't diarrhea. I know what diarrhea looks like. I have it
Yeah.
every morning. But so, like, it's not like the splattery spray of diarrhea. And if you notice, I've been investigating this video like a fucking, like a CSI crime investigator. He's got another log starting. Watch the slow version. He's got the whole log comes out, and then a little itty bitty bit comes out. So while he's in there, he's still shitting. Like, while he's just covering himself in his own poo water while his head is underneath the water, while his ears and eyes or mouth are all submerged under the water. He's
makes
just
my fucking
floating.
butthole tight thinking about it.
You don't think it'll just sink to the bottom?
I mean, if he's shitting actively and there is any water in that, it's all going to just spray around him, isn't it? Plus all the bubbles coming up from him just jumping
firm,
in.
Though, right?
It looks pretty firm.
And it's kind of like streamlined, aerodynamic. Like I feel like it would like be like a torpedo.
It depends on if he has a high fat diet, because sinkers and floaters. I mean, it just
That's
completely
true.
depends.
I think that's the thing. The bulk quotient.
Absolutely. So I feel like there's some science that hasn't been equated into this dude's fucking
So I feel
well thought out plan.
The head of the turd though is monstrous compared to everything else. So like he forced that thing out probably as he leapt, and
100%.
then it just started flowing after.
He was definitely groundhogging before this.
Do you think it was like a wet poop? Is that a wet poop to you?
No,
It would be impossible to determine.
That's a clean pinch poop
Because
right there.
Because if it's a wet poop, he totally just splashed in his own poop there. He's covered in poop.
Without
Lake
question,
water. Yeah, but
he
he's in the
has
water.
remnants
He can
of his
rub it
own
off.
feces on him.
Paul, can I ask you a serious question?
Sure.
Would you rather fight?
Would you rather
Wait,
fight Steven
Steven
Seagal
Seagal
or
this
I'm
man's
just kidding.
poop.
Oh, I'd fight
Or a poop monster.
Steven Seagal hands down before I do any of this nonsense.
I'm just kidding. But the serious question is, like,
okay.
let's say you go in the bathroom and there's just nasty clogged poop water in the toilet, but a crisp $100 bill on top. You grabbing that stuff? You grabbing that $100 bill?
I would make a device that would grab it for me.
Yep.
But then
Well, you can't
but
leave
then it would
because
have
someone
poop
else
on
is gonna-
it. It'd
someone
have
else-
poop on it.
It's gonna have shit on it.
I mean, I would
water.
make a glove made out of a whole roll of toilet paper.
You would mummify
You'd
your
stick
Yeah,
your
I would-
hand in there?
No, I would stick the toilet paper.
You
in
make
there.
a crab claw
The-
with toilet paper.
Toilet paper is highly absorbent. I feel like you
the
would
whole
instantly
roll.
get wet.
I think you could grab it fast enough, right? So you wouldn't have that time in there to where it would soak through.
How deep in the bowl is it?
He said on top.
Well, it's on top, but half of at least the center of the. Is that the poop monster?
Yeah,
The shithead
I was
monster?
waiting to bring this up, but this is from the graphic novel series Wanted. I found out about this when I was taking guitar lessons. My guitar instructor was so excited to talk to me about graphic novels because I just got into like Watchmen and shit. And he was
Wanted,
he
the
was,
movie with Morgan Freeman.
Exactly, that they fucked up super hard.
Okay,
yeah.
go on.
So he was so excited to tell me about this character by the name of Shithead. Shithead is a monster that's made of the evilest shits in the world combined. So there's a little bit of Hitler in there. There's a little bit of Stalin in there. The Jeffrey Dahmer
Are you
shits are a part.
shitting me?
100% real. And
Hold
this
on.
dude.
So this movie, based about some dork in a cubicle curving bullets,
1000%.
Chris Pratt.
actually has a huge sci-fi background to it involving a monster man
Yeah.
Made
So,
of
entirely made of historically evil shit.
and he's called Shithead.
Is
and
it-
here's the best part of Shithead.
Does
really
he call
quickly.
himself shithead?
Yeah,
in a
shithead.
third person.
That's his name.
That's his name. And he's
Good
in the
Lord.
thinker position, sitting on a toilet, and he is just the biggest piece of shit.
My guitar instructor was so excited to tell me about this fucking guy. So he was like, "Yeah, he can turn his shit hands into the consistency
Go to that
of
second picture.
hard constipation and fucking smash people to death, or he could turn himself into diarrhea." And he fills this limousine up. So here's the first panel of it. He punches through the limousine with his shit hands to get to this dude, and then he turns his whole body into diarrhea and drowns this dude to death inside of like out of his own diarrhea, and then comes, and that's how he kills people. And it's like creative ways that he turns shit into death.
How do you kill that with curved bullets?
They kill him with bleach. That's what this picture is. The second picture over here.
my
'cause
God.
That's his
Is he
face.
dead forever, or is it also like
I
a
didn't-
comic book science? and
Is he
makes-
made
I
out
didn't
of?
read that
is he
much
a
of it, and it's
person?
been a long
covered-
I'm going to. We're going to make a return to this character. I'm going to do
Yeah,
some
shithead.
thorough comic reading.
I hope so. And we're gonna get on to the next episode. But
Hold on.
I really want to. Can I ask a real quick question? Do you think it's a person that's just covered in shit, or is it like Clayface from Batman, who's made out of completely just clay.
How did he get all the evil shits?
Who shit on him? Who shit formed this creature?
Shithead is a shapeshifter made of the fecal matter. He's 100% excrement, and he was made from the feces of the 666 evilest people that ever walked the earth, and an enemy from the American fraternity who can also alter his density as the situation demands. That is the most amazing background bio I have ever read on.
Can we read more?
His origins are unknown. Some say he was born in the sewers. Others say that he was the result of a mystic spell, or maybe science. However, he is known for being made of the feces of the 666 evilest people to walk the planet, with the professor stating that there's a little Hitler, a touch of Ed Gein, and a half pound of Jeffrey Dahmer.
He's like the Powerpuff Girls of shit.
Shithead works as Mr. Rictus's right-hand man, is unwaveringly loyal to him. He is, however, like most of Mr. Rictus's gang, cruel and sadistic, shown by his last words to the professor, "Eat shit and die."
So if he's made up of I only heard of Adolf Hitler being like don't take this the wrong way, but Eddie Gein and Jeffrey Dahmer were kind of docile, being the sociopaths and psychopaths that they were.
Compared to the mass-murdering psychos
that Adolf Hitler was.
Who do you think the 666th most evil person was?
He was probably like some dickhead who ate someone's like last toaster strudel.
Yeah,
they're running low in the Walmart bin there for shitty people.
Yeah.
Wait, can you read about his death real quick, just so that we can get some a climax to this fantastic story?
During Mr. Rictus's takeover, Shithead killed the professor after impersonating Fuckwit, another character from Wanted. They have great fucking names. What can you say? And then tried to go after Fox and the killer after accusing the professor of killing the killer's father. Wow, that's a fucking tongue twister. An enraged Fox shot him in the head, angering Shithead and causing him to proclaim that he cannot be killed. The used some bleach to weaken him and flushed him down the toilet, putting an end to his life.
This scenario sounds like some fucking napkin-drawn comic book between two stonies at a White Castle.
And it's well-drawn as fuck.
Fuckwit and the Fox put a bullet in Shithead's fucking noggin and they flushed him down the toilet with bleach. That just sounds so ridiculous.
God, some type of mystic spell or science experiment gone wrong.
Oh,
what were they doing?
Listen to this real quick. His powers. Shithead displays his shape-shifting powers. Shithead is similar to the Batman villain Clayface and possesses the similar powers of shape-shifting and density manipulation, being able to be as soft as diarrhea or as hard as constipation, allowing him to resist damage to a certain degree and regenerate his body. However, he shows pain when he is shot, albeit in the head by Fox, is apparently highly sensitive to bleach.
So he can be as hard as constipation. That's not very hard, though.
Yeah,
compared to literally any other hard substance in the world.
What do you think about this, Paul?
By any means.
What is as hard as constipation?
I mean, are they talking about the effort? Because maybe, because sometimes it can be very, labor intensive. So that's my take on it.
Oh my god. Okay, so here's the next video we're gonna get to. It's bad parenting. Can you also log into our video group and pull up the last video when you get a chance?
Just type in the name over here.
Okay, so. Here what we're going to show you is the Zoom challenge. Last week we talked about the hot water challenge, which, Paul, if you don't know, is where you boil water and it's so hot and it's, you make pasta and shit out of it, but they pour it on themselves instead of making pasta.
That's stupid.
And they film this.
It's so fucking cringy to watch.
Yeah,
it makes you so uptight and like it makes you feel uncomfortable.
It's just people pouring boiling pots of water on them.
It's just people maiming themselves.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, before
Okay, so what is this?
Yeah, we just set up a different video for you to.
Yeah, we'll get into the hot water challenge later. But this is about bad parenting.
You get the idea. People are morons. There's not much more to it.
So there's this I don't know how you guys feel about child abuse, but I think it's fucking horrible. But anyways, this video is just talking about like the Zoom challenge. Yeah, I'm just rambling. Just go.
Running through the patch like a trap meet. Full up with 2 pistols
on
the
fuck?
Trapping out the back street. Running through the patch
so these kids are sitting on the ground.
So pause it real quick. Let me explain. So this is called the Zoom challenge, where basically the kids starts dancing, and then the parents yank them as hard as they can out of the screen of the picture, where you obviously see that they hit their head. It's so fucked up.
And
really
this kid's shirtless, and he's on fucking carpet. That's gonna be some serious rug burn on his whole back. I don't know. This isn't so bad.
I feel like, but with trends and stuff, you shouldn't be involving your kids as low as they are too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Fuck?
It's not as bad as the boiling water fucking challenge.
That's pretty bad. All right, let's skip this one. We'll go to the next one, and then we'll go to the hot boiling water challenge.
Can we go to mine next? Mine's
go to the
really
kids playing hide and seek.
Okay.
The second one.
Go. You just cut in front of Cody.
And this is part of the videos I wanted to show. So there's a video I'm showing here where there's these kids playing hide and seek on the ledge of a building.
They're winning is what they're fucking doing.
Oh my god, this is making my butthole pucker.
Like, what the fuck?
You know, all you really do is need to hug that wall and not look down.
Bro, how many fucking stories up are these kids?
That's the question. It looks like it's straight in the middle of New York.
What you can see is 3 stories up, but it seems like it's much higher than that, probably.
Well, yeah, they're filming from across the street.
But you can't see the grass. But this fucking kid comes out the window, hides around the corner on this fucking ledge, and this other kid comes out onto the ledge and goes and fucking tries to find him. This is, goddamn, where are these kids' parents at?
That's what I'm saying. Bad parenting.
Oh yes,
dude, you don't know. These kids might be able to handle themselves very well.
These kids are practically Spider-Man.
Yeah,
all right.
Man.
So this isn't as shocking as the hot water challenge. So let's just get into that real quick.
Do you want to do the hot water challenge?
Yes, I got it right here.
I could just.
You can pull it up.
Yep, there it is.
No, this is only the 52-second one. It's not the whole thing.
Here, I'll send it to the group.
Here, just play it on your phone.
Okay. I'm going to play it on my phone. So, can you see this, Paul?
Yeah, man.
Oh my god, man. The worst part about this one is everyone else does it to themselves. She does it to another person.
That's got to be illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% illegal. That's assault. Oh, God.
And battery.
Okay, so to set this up for the listeners.
Premeditated.
That's stupid.
This dude turned red as fuck.
That's like
so you know it's real.
3rd-degree burn.
Instantaneous.
Yeah. The scarring on it's horrible. See pictures of it.
dumbasses?
Are these the kids that survived Tide Pods or couldn't get a hold of Tide Pods?
See,
this is the same generation that ate Tide Pods.
I said this last episode when we brought this up, that the thing about trends is you have to see them and you have to see the results of them to do them and follow them. So these people are fucking seeing people dump water on themselves, get scarred up and burned for the rest of their lives, and then they're going, I'll fucking do that too.
Yeah, I don't get it. I just don't get how anybody signs up to dump oil. Like, do you not understand the implications on your body when you dump boiling water? Like, stick a toe in there first. Like I said on the last episode, like these fucking idiots, they don't like test it on a finger first. They just go full on boiling water right over their fucking face, open eyes and everything, like, and just like melt their whole bodies real quick. Like, if you just stuck like one finger in there, you'd be like, I'm not fucking doing this. This is gonna fuck me up real bad.
There's people in the compilation though that clearly know the consequences to dumping water on themselves. They're jumping, they're scared, they're jittery, and they fucking do it anyways. They're the same people that would say, like, hey, if your friend told you to jump off a bridge, would you follow them off, would you? And
have you ever
they fucking would.
Seen like the Kylie Jenner challenge or whatever it was, where people, you ever like sucked on a cup hard and had it stick to your mouth and people say, don't do that, you'll get a fat lip?
No.
Here, look up the Kylie Jenner challenge. Gone wrong.
I want to bring up something related to that.
Do it.
She was brought up in Forbes magazine for being the youngest billionaire.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Or whatever.
She's almost a billionaire. They called her self-made, which is just the most absurd thing.
It is so fucking absurd. And on top of that, there's people donating money to her so she achieves this title. That is how does that
the fat Jewish, the comedian, he did that as a joke. He created a joke GoFundMe, and then like I think a few people donated like a couple $100 or something.
Oh my fucking
to it,
god!
Which was kind of crazy. But you know, when you look at her versus Kim, like Kylie Jenner's net worth is $900 million, and that's actually only because she owns that makeup company. Like her sister Kim Kardashian, her net worth is only $350 million. So it's pretty crazy. Like she really has like made herself wealthy, but to call her self-made is the most absurd thing because obviously someone who's thrust into fame and notoriety from the moment that they can function.
Yeah,
like,
she had a
obvious
huge
heads up, and they were millionaires. They're already millionaires.
Exactly, exactly. Like there's how many countless hundreds of other makeup startups on like Etsy or some shit. And they're still going nowhere?
Oh, she just, slapped her name on a brand.
Exactly.
But she's also she's the only owner of the company. So she gets, like, all the proceeds. Her company's not, like,
it
incorporated
says something
out.
about her fucking
But it means that she's getting all of the money from
yeah.
it. I mean, that's why she's doing so well, is because she doesn't have, like, multiple people running it.
It's all stupid.
Still fucking dumb.
Just as stupid as the Kylie Jenner challenge gone wrong. So you would take a cup, like a regular kitchen cup you would drink out of, and you put it on your mouth, and you just suck with your mouth, and it sticks to your face. But if you do it long enough and suck hard enough, your lips get really swollen, as if you had lip injections. But people would be doing this. This was before the Tide Pod challenge. But they would do it so much, then they would take it off their mouth, and they'd be like, "Oh my god," because they're drooling, and then their lips would split in half.
Jeez.
It's horrible.
So we've got the video pulled up so that you can cringe all night long thinking about doing this.
They look like buttholes.
Getting very irritated. Blood vessels are popping. This is not funny whatsoever, but please, parents,
Shout out to
tell your
Tynesha
kids
Lewis
to stop following celebrities.
Go to the top right video.
How young is that little
It's
girl?
cool, because everything they think is cool is not cool. This is not funny. This is not cool.
It's
this
fucking
is not even
dumb.
Cute.
This is from a long time ago.
Yeah,
I felt
yeah.
like
I'm
it's
like,
not
I guess as an
prevalent
African-American
anymore.
female, I'm like, okay, so now...
All right,
my
all
God.
right, all right. So she's talking about they've got this like slideshow of pictures going of these girls that have just ruined their fucking lips, like doing this stupid ass challenge.
How do you feel about the forbidden snacks, Paul?
What are forbidden snacks?
You know the forbidden
The
fruits.
forbidden snacks.
I don't know.
Like
Forbidden
Tide
snacks.
Pods are
Or
the
scabs.
forbidden gushers.
Those aren't even snacks.
Or scab chips.
No shit.
That
You don't-
doesn't make sense. I
Paul,
think-
you've never, as a kid, you fell off your bike, you scrape your knee up. A week later, you got that big juicy scab. It's just staring at you in the face. You're like, man, that would a little bit of salt.
never thought
maybe
about eating
some
that.
vinegar,
No,
salt and vinegar
no.
scab chips.
That's
Nah.
so fucking gross.
The forbidden chips, Paul.
Those are forbidden
I mean,
chips.
at least that's like organic.
Yeah,
Matter, you know what I mean?
homegrown,
So you're saying you would do that?
non-GMO.
If
You know where it's
between that
being
and
raised.
a Tide Pod, of course.
Cruelty-free.
Right.
Okay, so
Tide Pods might kill you.
Cruelty-free.
let's get into it. But is that considered cannibalism?
A
I don't
scab?
know.
You're
100%
eating-
yes, you're eating human flesh.
You're eating human
Yes.
But
flesh.
it's your human flesh.
I
Okay,
don't know.
self-cannibalism.
Self-cannibalism.
If you eat your own leg, you're still a fucking cannibal. Definition of cannibalism is...
Yeah,
Are you
Probably
considered a cannibal if you
are.
eat yourself?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
Uh.
what if you just eat a little bit of your earlobe? I mean, yeah, it's human flesh.
So we
What
had
about the people who eat, like, when women give birth, they have, like, extra stuff that comes out? Like, what about the
After
Oh, the
women?
birth?
placenta? I thought
Afterbirth,
that
yeah.
wasn't good
If you
for you.
ate
Like, they
after
actually...
birth?
They fry it up and shit.
Yeah.
They take
Michael
it
Jackson- Michael Jackson did that.
Hold on.
Are you a cannibal then?
What?
You're blowing Patrick's
Hold
mind
on.
now.
What the fuck did you just say, Cody?
You didn't know about this?
Yeah, dude, they like bread them and shit like this.
Yeah,
Oh
people
my
eat
God,
their
dude.
placenta.
Michael Jackson did that.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't surprise
Hold
me.
on, you're telling me he ate the placenta of his
Yeah, one of
kid?
his kids. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I'm
which
about
supposed to be
vomit
really,
thinking
like,
about it.
Rich
Or
in nutrients.
He's rumored to
God,
have
I
done
don't-
that.
I can't go.
I can't look
Oh
at this.
god! Oh Christ!
Pause it, dude. I have a lot of
Eating
snot in my
fresh
throat.
placenta.
Dude, she was in a fucking little kiddie pool with fucking afterbirth, and they lifted it up. And it looked like fucking pulled pork. Covered in barbecue
That's
sauce.
actually about to throw up.
Oh my god.
It looked like pulled pork covered in barbecue
And
sauce.
she starts suckling on it.
If I saw
my
that,
God.
I would probably be a little hungry.
I think
Would
a lot of
you-
people cook it because it's supposed to have a lot of nutrients.
Is that
in
cannibalism?
Holy fucking
cannibalism?
god!
What do you think, Paul?
It's not actually a body part, so I would say no. It's like a byproduct. It's like mucus, right?
So
Or-
you
It's
wouldn't
like
consider like a vampire person a cannibal if they suck someone's blood? they have to eat the body part.
Well, blood kind of like helps you function. Like,
are vampires cannibals?
I think it all falls on situation. Vampires are doing it because they have to survive. If you were to eat yourself, depending if it was out of curiosity, yes. If you had to do it for survival, probably not. Unless you got the hunger.
Well, vampires are no longer human, so they're basically a different species. So I don't think they're cannibals.
They need to do it.
So when you get bit by a vampire and you turn into a whole different species.
It's a metamorphosis. It's like the difference between a caterpillar and a butterfly.
He hit the fucking nail right on the head.
Interesting. I guess that wouldn't make
I've
him
never
a cannibal.
thought about vampires that way.
Wow. Open my mind, Paul.
Yeah.
I've got a video for you guys.
Let's
I'm going to see something
it,
really horrible. All right, so this is from UK's Scariest Debt Collector, full length, from Vice on YouTube. The idea is basically this dude is like a
I think I've seen this.
He's all mobbed out, like from fucking Britain. You can barely understand him, so they have to put sometimes they put subtitles on people, and I'm like, I can understand them perfectly. Like, what the fuck are the subtitles here? They are barely speaking English in this. So for the listeners at home, I'm going to try to read what the fucking dialogue says, because you're not going to be able to understand them without the dialogue unless you're used to speaking with these guys. But this dude's like a former mobster that owns this gym, and he found this crazy dude that just got out the mental asylum, and he's trying to like help him out and reform him and get him into the gym and fucking like start boxing with him and getting him to like change his fucking ways. But he's going to describe himself, and I'll just let it...
Yeah, I've got a bipolar personality disorder, bipolar, and violent tendencies.
Dang.
I guess you can understand this dude a little bit better.
For sure, I'd probably be dead myself because of as you can say, self-harm.
He says he self-harms.
Stab myself, cut myself. That's you can see me rib. You can see me rib when I take that off.
Oh my God! Are you about to see this?
100%.
A woman winding me up.
Oh my God!
It's me chest pussy.
Hey, you want to see it? Let me open my wound. And then I'm gonna
now he takes his stitches out and he starts body sparring. This dude has an open fucking knife wound that goes all the way down to his ribs.
How would you feel if you were teaching your class and someone came and they had a big like surgery that just had, and they say, like, "I'm here, sir. I'm here, sir.
Can I see my rib?" And they rip open their fucking.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Sit this one out. I would just say, sit this one out.
What if they say, like, "Look, man, I'm here to train," and he pays you like extra money, he gives you like an extra $500. Like, I need this.
Paul has a look on his face like, "What the fuck did I sign up for when I agreed to do this goddamn podcast? How do I get out of this?" Fake an emergency, Paul. Oh shit, my kids.
I'll see it through.
Drowning, I think. It's a dad instinct. I gotta go.
I don't halfway do anything, so.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm sorry we're making you so uncomfortable.
No, that's
see
fine.
it in your face.
Life is for living, the good and the bad.
So you would tell him to go home even if...
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's stupid.
Oh, he does tell him to go home. He doesn't know about it, so he keeps going. Right. And he notices a fucking... He's sparring with him.
I wasn't a man.
So I'm just going to show you. We could talk over it. But as he's talking, he's like got a bleeding wound right here, just chilling.
Well, I didn't hate myself no more.
He's saying when he cut himself, he didn't feel as bad.
I wasn't taking the drugs as much. So when I fell down, I was cutting myself. I ain't got no more room anyway to cut myself now, so I don't think I'll be carrying on doing it.
Oh, fuck's that?
Dang.
Can't be body part.
No.
It's fucking done.
The dude's like, what the fuck? He's like, I'm going to put a plaster on it, which is a Band-Aid. He's like, I'm going to put a Band-Aid over a fucking giant gaping chest wound.
Oh my god.
And then we could keep sparring today. No, dude, you got to go fucking home. This dude is straight up mentally ill. Later in the documentary, you don't see him for a while, and he shows back up with this crazy facial wound, and he was like, well, I thought I was doing better, and then I stabbed myself in the face, and I hit an artery. Luckily, my dad was home because it was spurting blood all over the fucking bathroom, and my dad had to come in and save my life, and I was like, Jesus.
I am going to watch the entirety of this tonight.
And the thing is, this fucking documentary isn't even about this dude. He's just the most fascinating fucking psycho that you've ever seen in your entire life.
Dude, I don't understand how someone can be that pumped up. I mean, I know you get pumped when you're at the gym and like doing this stuff, but like
no, he's schizophrenic,
he's just mentally
bipolar.
ill. Yeah, there's something
isn't.
wrong with him.
That's crazy.
He's fucked in the head. He's not getting wound up. He's got schizophrenia and all kinds of like emotional disorders and stuff. All right, do we have anything that doesn't have like a tremendous amount of blood in it? Because I'm getting queasy.
Yeah, that's fine. What's this one?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Oh, this is stupid.
Okay.
Wholesome. So this guy... No, it's wholesome.
Bro, I already clicked out of it. It's too late.
It's all right. Okay, so this video I just thought was funny because it's this baby bird, like seabird. I don't want to say it's a seagull. Is getting fed by the mom, but it just starts whining for more vomit, and I just thought it was so stupid.
Oh, God.
More!
God.
Alrighty.
I feel like that's like our cat.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. This video here, I have no idea why I put it in here, but it looks like it's going to be bad.
You mean you put this in here for us to watch and you haven't seen it
I think
yet?
I remember watching it,
The caption is "What is going on here?" Not safe for work.
Oh, good lord.
Okay.
Okay, you guys want to see what this is all at once? We're all in on this together.
Sure.
Nobody knows what the fuck this is. Oh, Jesus. What the fuck? Patrick. Okay, it is a
leaf just fell.
It is a ginormous woman who just fell on the ground and has a tremendous amount of, is it oil or liquid? She is fucking covered in some oil, shaking her ass on the ground. They're just dumping
and then someone
bottles.
just dropped a weave on her.
Whole weave falls on her ass.
I tell you what, that looks like a party. That looks like a party. Can you guys hear me?
I mean, I would fucking go.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know.
Where are they at a fucking gymnasium? Look at those wooden floors. Like, they just oiling up the wood floors. You don't. You just fucking
just
buy a new
forever?
house. Yep, time to buy a new house. And fucking put 8 bottles of baby oil on the floor, and there's permanent ass stains all down there.
So, how'd you feel about that, Paul?
How'd that make you feel?
I can't say I enjoyed it. I mean, everybody makes.
To send you that URL so that
you're at a party and this goes down. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, I would like to see how it plays out. You know, I mean, I'd be concerned for their safety. That's a lot of oil and
slippery in there.
Hardwood floors. You know, it's tough enough. You know, and you're in your stocking feet.
Where do you think the wig came from at the end that fell on her butt? Like, did someone throw that, or
I
did
could
it
be
fall?
wrong,
Some lady
but
getting
it may or may not have been hers.
I think she lost it in a tussle, and somebody was giving it back.
She's turned.
She's got to be highly inebriated. Yeah.
Have you ever been to like any crazy parties, Paul?
Any crazy parties?
Do you get down like that, dude?
Man, I haven't got down in a while. Crazy like how? Like I mean,
just something that comes to mind. Like, whoa, that was a crazy time. Like, if you think party, what party are you thinking of?
I mean, who hasn't been to a
have you ever seen
gathering that's gone sideways? You know, I mean, I've gone to I've been to things and drank too much, and people have been there that didn't like each other and started stuff.
Paul, have you ever seen somebody get suplexed through a lit charcoal grill? I would define something like that as.
I saw somebody break a finger during a keg stand gone wrong, I guess.
Yeah, how'd they break it? Just the weight of the keg?
Just kind of they were upside down, and then whoever was spotting them just kind of didn't really have them, and they landed on their hand. Yeah, seen that.
Did they still?
You mean drunk people are clumsy? No fucking way.
Shouldn't be upside down.
Yeah. What were they doing upside down?
Those
kids.
Silly kids.
I don't know. I've just been to regular parties, I guess. Just regular youthful hijinks. I can't think of anything. I've never seen anybody twerk on the floor and
covered in oil.
People dump cooking oil and weaves on them. That's
that pretty much tops it, right?
Yeah, that's something else.
Have you been to anything like that?
Oh yeah,
definitely.
We all have.
Definitely.
I mean,
I've never been to anything like that.
Not like that, but I mean, I've been to some fucking weird like events and things. Like I had an uncle that would let me throw parties at his house when I was 16. And he'd buy us liquor and shit, and then like people would just get reckless. It was a bunch of 16-year-olds drinking liquor and smoking weed, and then we'd have fucking crazy Halloween parties, and people would black out and throw up all over each other and fucking do all kinds of crazy shit. Pull out knives, and you gotta restrain somebody from killing your other friend. And next thing you know, somebody's cutting himself, and you're like, "Why are you cutting yourself? I'm going to prison tomorrow." And we had made him drink Picasso shit water. It's a whole fucking thing. I've got story after story after story.
When I was in college, me and a few of my friends, we had like an event where we would brand people with coat hangers. That was kind of crazy.
What?
I have
What
a
do you
story
mean?
that I've told like this about this before. We branded a dick on our friend.
Because so there was I lived in a dorm, and then the floors on the dorm, they had like these different fraternities on them, just the ones that didn't live in the houses. And one night, this particular frat, they had like a party, and a bunch of them got super drunk, and me and my friends, we were just kind of like loners and kind of misfits, and we made these. One of us got the idea to make their frat letters or Greek letters out of a coat hanger, and I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it's common in like the black fraternities for them to get branded as kind of a initiation rite, and they actually have like real brands and probably like some type of body art type professional to do it. I guess it's kind of a haze. I think it's more of it's an initiation.
Like a final step.
They're proud of it. Like the Kappas and the Q Dogs. Those are the black fraternities they get branded. Well, this was not a black fraternity. This was like your white middle class, just your regular college privileged guy fraternity. But they were super drunk, and somehow we talked them into how cool it would be for them to show how loyal they were to their fraternity if they got brands. And so we built like a little fire of these like just wood, like these sticks and wood shavings and like a cut open beer can. And we heated this coat hanger up in this like super unsanitary fire. And we just stuck it on them until it sizzled and it went down like maybe a 16th of an inch or 32nd of an inch or something, and till they didn't want to. I don't know how we figured out.
Did you get one?
I didn't get one. I'm not stupid.
And did you have an initiation?
What's that?
Did you have an initiation?
I'm not in a frat. No, I was. We were the kind of like the loner misfits that kind of sold this to the drunken frat brothers. And, it was like, I remember just one of them that got it. It looked awful, like, the next day.
Was it infected as fuck?
Yeah, gosh. It was like a scabby mess.
Oh, God.
But I don't know. I didn't really feel bad for them. I didn't really feel bad for that crowd because they were, a bunch of misogynist type jerk off, so whatever.
Good Lord, dude.
Good for you, Paul.
Good for you.
Proud of you.
Giving people gangrene arms. Paul, you're an American hero.
What would we do without you? That's crazy.
Yeah, fuck him. I branded my friend because he was annoying. Well, I've told the story in the podcast.
Which
before.
one?
It's an old story. My buddy Josh.
Yeah.
I just don't want to reiterate the story again. We branded a dick on his arm he wanted whiskey. We gave him whiskey and then he was like, all right, give me another brand. I was like, oh, you just got a coat hanger brand and you're ready for another one. All right.
So have you done a lot of traveling, Paul?
Just a little bit. I won't say a lot.
What you just went on vacation recently. Did you do anything fun?
Just regular stuff, man. Just hang out on the beach and relax and eat a bunch of seafood. And yeah, at my age, like, fun is just not doing stuff more so than doing stuff, because I do stuff all the time.
I feel that a lot.
I work,
totally.
I do martial arts, and my mom lives right next door, so I run errands for her, which I love her being next door. But like, it's vacations for me are not doing stuff,
right?
I do enough stuff.
Totally chilling.
Do you ever feel like it's more work to go fucking on vacation to plan a trip than it would be like? Is that enjoyable? The whole
I love the anticipation of a vacation, and we drove like 12 hours, and it was freaking awesome. Like, it flew by, because I mean there was just drive. I mean we left super early in the morning, like 2:00, and traffic was great both ways. We found like this Hank Williams Senior Museum in the middle of BFE Alabama, and we found this lady that knew all kinds of like trivia about his life. This old lady, she was just sitting in there with the only patrons in his boyhood home. I saw a badass El Camino that was like jacked up with monster truck tires. That was like my dream car. I mean, it was just great, and just getting to the beach, man. I mean, coming back, it was like I couldn't stay awake. I drove almost the whole way down there, like the whole 12 hours, except for the last maybe 50 miles. And but coming back, like I had to switch off every hour or two because I just did not want to come back.
Yeah,
dude,
to real life.
We watched a video. I guess there was a mattress company, Purple. What was it called?
It's the Purple Mattress. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Tim and Eric, but they did a marketing campaign for them for some fucking reason. I don't know why. Awesome. And so it's like a little mini episode of Tim and Eric and watching I know, Paul, you're a fan of Tim and Eric because we've talked about it before. It's like, but yeah, it's like they go into the Sunday scaries, which is like when you're trying to sleep at night, but you can't because it's the Sunday night. You don't want to see your boss on Monday. It's fucking weird. Just weird as shit. It's great though.
Look up Tim and Eric.
I'm already looking it up.
Yeah, Sunday scaries.
I just typed in Purple Mattress Tim and Eric.
There you go, the first one. It's fucking hilarious. That was my fault.
Hi, my name is Quirky Purple, and welcome to the Purple Boys series on ideal sleep solutions and zonk strategies. I'm joined by one of the co-creators of the Purple Boys, Gino Purple.
Thank you so much, Quirk. I am indeed Gino Purple, the Purple Boy, and we are here to help you sleep.
Today we're going to be talking about the Sunday scaries.
And we're going to take you on a wild ride to teach you how to say no to the Sunday scare no-nos.
Purple Boys. Release your mind. Let the sleep flow through you.
Do you have 2 minutes of time to let me help you sleep?
This is finally sleep you can count on.
It's time to sleep.
There's nothing better than the weekend. That's why we are all familiar with the Sunday scaries. That feeling at the end of the weekend where you've got the work week coming up and you just wish you could just enjoy that Saturday night excitement for the rest of time.
And then, Sunday night comes. We got a big work week. I'm not getting any sleep. I have anxiety. I have paranoia.
Exciting going on a fucking plane.
Claustrophobia. Because I don't want to see my boss the next day.
Summer weekend going bye-bye.
Been there.
I love the weekends. I love zipping around and, going to the movies and going to the beach. But then I get the Sunday scaries.
Do they just pick up people off the side of the fucking road?
I think that a lot of their people from their show were actually people from public access television in Georgia.
No more Sunday scaries.
That's why they were all like weird like that.
Right.
Dude, we all get the Sunday scaries.
I'm just glad that
there's a brand to it,
I don't. I work on Sundays.
Yeah, I work on Sundays.
I get excited. Too. That's like my Thursday.
Well, I'm off on Monday and Tuesday.
Wow. Okay. Well, whatever, guys. It's your off day scaries. Lame. But I get what you're saying with the anticipation of the vacation. Rachel and I are going on vacation in about 4 or 5 days, and it's like every day is the longest day of my life.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. So let's get into our last section here that we like to call Man to Man. Well, basically we ask you a would you rather question, Paul. You have to answer honestly, and we can change it. It can be horrible or wonderful, but you just got to go for it.
That was hard for me to pull off because I was yawning when you were announcing it. And I was like, wrap it up. Man, all right.
Man. So basically, Cody, he has I've
got a couple for you today, actually. I worked on it today. All right, Paul. So would you rather permanently, the only thing that you can smell is shit constantly everywhere that you go? Either that or once a week, just once a week, you have to take paper and paper cut the webbings of your toes or of your feet once a week. You have to do that. Or permanent shit smell in your nose. Like it's ruining everything. It's ruining sex for you. It's the only thing you can smell. You're really getting at it with your old lady, and the next thing you know, it's fucking like just diarrhea smell in your nose. You can't keep it up. You can't eat good food. You're at a nice restaurant. You're paying fucking $80 for your plate and for her plate, and then you just like constant shit smell in your nose. You never get used to it. It never fucking goes away. It's just constant. Like,
you never
awful
get
shit.
used to it.
Never
that
get used
doesn't
to
make
it.
Sense.
You can ask more questions and try to get the logic of it, and we'll give you our version.
How do you never get used to it?
You just don't.
It doesn't make sense.
It's part of it.
Just don't.
It's just,
how does it get in there?
Yeah, exactly.
But so do you get used to the paper cuts, or I mean,
it's just as horrible every time. It never stops being horrible.
Once a week, though. It's only once a week.
Yeah, or you just smell shit forever.
I think I do the paper cuts.
Well, let me ask you this, Cody. Are you the only one smelling shit, or does the significant other also smell shit?
Your breath smells like shit too.
My breath smells like shit.
Hot shit.
I guess. I mean, in order to save face, I would take the paper cuts. You know, I'd be altruistic and spare my fellow man.
So here's what you would be in for, Paul, if you went for the paper cuts one. Here's Johnny Knoxville demonstrating the webbings of his toes.
Oh my god, dude!
Being paper cut open.
No, dude!
That's so horrible. I think I chose wrong.
I still would choose the paper cuts.
I
could handle
look at
the
that.
pain.
Oh, no!
I could handle the pain over smelling shit constantly.
Dude, I would not do this. I choose this shit.
I like to eat
Bro,
too
once
much.
a week. Look. Oh no, he just did his finger.
Oh, it's horrible to watch.
Oh. I can't take this anymore.
That paper's too thick, though. I would not pick that thick of a paper.
No, you have to use a manila envelope.
No, that's wrong. That's not even paper. That's card. That's
so you're going
cardboard.
You're going perma shit then?
I couldn't choose shit. I like food too much, like
Yeah,
good
I mean-
food, and having shit smelling your mouth or your nose would ruin food forever.
But
like,
you just saw that video of Johnny Knoxville taking
but
those.
that's once a week and it's painful and it sucks. But then I can continue to live a normal life afterwards.
Except
With
for
the
when
shit
you're-
smell, my whole life is fucked up.
Do you ever get a paper cut on the webbings or something like that, or a cut
Just
in between?
think about
there?
how long it would take you to heal. I mean, it would be painful for quite a while.
Eventually, you're gonna have to start cutting through scar tissue.
Yeah, I was about to say scar tissue. Oh,
it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, I'll take the smell. I mean, that's fine.
You're going smell, but Rachel's going paper cuts on the webbings. Okay.
It has to be cardboard paper or sandpaper.
What?
Okay, bad.
Yeah,
I don't think that's gonna make it worse.
Doesn't even work.
You make it work.
All right, Luke, Pat, what are you guys going for?
Paul, would you ever eat?
No, I meant what would you guys rather do? You didn't toss your answers.
Oh, I totally do the shit smell.
100%?
Yeah, I don't want watching that video made that
You can
100
never
times
eat
worse.
a calzone ever again and enjoy it.
What if I have a stuffy nose?
Nah, bro, it's just stuffy shit.
But you could really get into that whole food as fuel concept, and you could get super shredded because you wouldn't be like craving all the time.
Good point.
Everything
I
would
guess
smell
that's
like shit.
true.
Yeah.
I would probably go with the paper cuts.
I'd step into like my family's Thanksgiving dinner and be like, smells like shit in here. Lame. But, you know.
All right, so that's
All right.
one of them.
Okay, so I have one for you, Paul.
All right.
Would you rather eat peanut butter and jelly soup every morning, or would you rather have...
Are you just making this up on the fly?
Yeah, I'm
Pat?
trying to make up with it. Really, really long fingernails, but you can't cut them. They are constantly long forever. You have to live your life with ridiculously long fingernails. I'm talking like 3 feet fingernails. You can't cut them.
That's easy. Peanut butter and jelly soup every morning.
But when you eat the peanut butter and jelly soup, it makes your stomach very, very upset, Paul.
That's stupid. That doesn't make sense.
For how long? How long is the side effect?
How often does your stomach stay upset when it's upset? You know, like probably a couple hours. Like you're probably feeling
Can you
pretty...
take Tums? Like, is there anything you can take that will alleviate
Can I
it?
get on disability for the fingernail thing? Because
No. You can
that doesn't
still...
make sense either.
Heat cut those.
If I have a disorder, a genetic disorder, which...
pick that lady right there. Right there. That's what I'm thinking.
Trying,
Like,
it's doing
Okay,
something
so I would
fucked up.
probably pick the fingernails because that would give me some degree of notoriety.
So
and
how are you
maybe
gonna-
generate extra income.
would you still
And I
do...
would avoid belly pains, right?
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Okay, fingernails, easy.
What about...
How would you wipe your butt?
Yeah, how would you wipe it?
We had a demonstration.
Probably
video
just
about
wrap the toilet
That's what
paper
they do.
around
Yeah, I think.
and then just...
this. Slide the fingernails over it. Okay, Paul, I like your strategy.
So how would you
Paul's
run
a
your
strategic
class?
guy. You
How would
can
you run
tell.
your class with the fingernails this long?
I might just have to find a different hobby. You know?
Dang.
You know?
I mean, you could probably make it your own. You know, like only people that can be in your class have to have really ridiculously long fingernails. Or, it could probably hit a specific demographic that people never thought would happen. Because there are people
You could
who
just
have-
poke everybody in the eyeball.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it'd probably make a really good back scratcher.
Yeah, you could become a professional back scratcher.
Luke, your turn.
For a man-to-man?
Yes.
Oh, I've got a good one.
Let's hear it.
Scabs or butter?
Scabs.
All right.
Scabs. Lots of scabs.
Oh, God.
Okay, so would you rather have scabs on the palm of your hands and feet like a cat? You know, like they have those little beans, but instead it's scabs. Just patted on your hands
Like
and
the
feet.
palm of your hand is a scab?
Yep, and on your fingers, except for where you bend the joints, you know.
So it doesn't
so
like
you
crinkle
can bend.
and crack?
Yeah. So there's no splitting in blood all the time. But you can bend your fingers, but there's crusty there always.
Crusty scabs. Whenever you go to shake somebody's hand, it's just
on your
handful
feet
of scabs.
and hands. Yes.
Can you wear gloves or socks or anything? to
Yeah,
cover your
but
scabs?
there's still scabs.
Yeah.
What's the or?
Or
Yep, you just have scabs, Paul.
Or you have a giant patch of scab on your head for hair.
I choose the scab hands.
Scab hands over scab hair?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But you got to think about this. When you're in the shower and you're trying to wash your scabby head, you remember that how soggy scabs get. So you're going to be feeling that soggy, scabby feeling on your head when you're, washing it off.
You're just going to
Yeah,
have to
but
get
you're
like a
gonna be used
shower.
to it.
You're going to have to get a shower cap.
But it's
wear
a scab
hats.
that never comes off.
Oh no, you could peel it and it'll bleed, but it'll grow back.
Like
It never
over
fully
and
Like
heals.
I don't know, like if you just have some sort of like picking like anxiety like thing, you can pick at it, it'll bleed, it'll be gross and all that stuff.
Do you
but
pick
it'll-
your scabs?
It'll pick
Yeah.
back.
It'll
come back.
Hands. I'll pick the hand.
Yeah.
No,
I
wait.
pick the hands.
Wait.
Think long and
You could just
hard.
wear gloves.
Ask any question.
Like MJ. MJ did it.
Oh, but
Did
I
he have scabby
could
hands?
play the guitar and stuff probably.
Paul
Think
seems
long
like he's
and hard. Ask any question you
Like,
need.
If I have a significant other, they would probably recoil from my touch.
Yeah, that's very true. It would be
They
very
might
tough
get-
to
they
I
might
try
could
be
to-
always
into
wear
it.
a hat with a head scab.
You're trying to be really passionate and sweet with your wife, and you rub her,
But-
you caress her face, and she just feels that rough, scabby, crusty feeling on your
Ugh.
fingertips.
Where would a scab hand come in as an advantage?
I don't know. I don't think
Probably
there is really
doesn't.
much of an advantage, to be
I
honest.
would say there's some like padding so you wouldn't have so much feeling, but it's
scab
gonna
feet,
break
you-
and
I guess you
bust.
could wear
No,
a
here.
wig too.
It dries out.
You have scab feet too. Remember
No, scab
that.
feet is you get more traction during at a pool party. The wet surface is usually slippery.
I'm picking scab
You
head.
got-
Scab head for hair. Scab head for hair.
Scab head.
It's done. Yeah,
Cody,
it's
what are
done.
you picking? Scab head or hands and feet?
Perma bandana.
Do we have a
or-
video for this or a picture? Or?
I mean, I'm sure we can find something if you want us to really
this
dig
is
deep.
so this is
I mean,
gonna
you
be
found
gross.
something
Look
for
up
the other two.
I can
Look
tell
up
already.
scabby head.
Scabby head.
Palm scabs. Oh my god. Paul, why did you tell us to look this up?
It was. I figured you would.
Why are you
anyway.
making us watch gross stuff?
You're right.
This makes my butthole so tight, dude.
Dude, this is
This
is what you make us look up every time. Or this fat old fucking scab on your head.
This is so stupid.
God.
Oh my god, look at the size
No
of that
one's winning
scab.
in this scenario.
Look at the size of that. What did he do to get a scab that size in his head?
It's that, but everywhere.
Just so you know, I actually have a little background in this. I have severe plaque psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis. So there have been times in my life where I have been afflicted with severe scabbing. I take a medication to it kind of squashes my immune system because it's an autoimmune disorder.
Oh.
Gotcha.
So what causes it? Your immune system goes haywire and it attacks living cells and you never fully heal.
Right.
And actually, a couple of my tattoos, I have psoriasis on them. They never fully heal.
Yeah, I was going to
So I
ask,
have some
how did that
experience
work?
here. So I think, the head. I'm used to the head thing. So I'll
I
take
got
it.
you. I got you.
Yeah.
Patrick?
I think it'd be easier to have a scabby head than scabby hands. You know?
Paul sold me on the head. I'm going head too.
Yeah.
I think I might changed to head because I can always get a wig.
So when I want to ask this because a couple of my friends have psoriasis and they say they can't get tattoos because of it. But you have a lot of tattoos, at least you have a decent amount of tattoos. What is that like when you get tattooed? Do you have to wait till it clears up? Like, how does it work?
Well, the medication I'm on, it makes me. It's mostly I'm like 99% free, but there's something called the Kebner effect where psoriasis can appear where it hadn't. Or it doesn't normally appear due to trauma, and so the first tattoos I got, I didn't have psoriasis then, but so the other ones were kind of like a managed risk, and I think like I have a tattoo over here, and it's psoriasis free, and I think it's really because I was really diligent about the aftercare, and like there's a couple over here which I think I wasn't, like I washed them a little too soon and wasn't cognizant of, being gentle with the scabs and stuff. And so the latest one I got, it's just, there's like these minute speck places. And I think it's just because like this area is really traumatic for me. Like it hurt a lot.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a painful spot.
It sucked. So it's just kind of like a managed risk.
What do you have on your stomach? What is it exactly?
It's an ox.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. You want me?
If you want, that's up to you.
So it's an ox with it's a traditional dagger.
Jeez, that's
intense.
It's fucking dope, is what it is. When you showed me that at work, I was thinking like, damn, I really want a stomach piece.
How much did that shit hurt?
The tattoos that I have on my sides kind of go up onto my stomach, just a tiny little bit, and it was like a dagger in my flesh. It was so painful. So I have so much respect for you because you have like your entire stomach done, and just from those few little pieces that I have, it was horrible.
Ribs and the sternum. I mean, it makes sense because there are like these pressure points, so to speak, on the ribs, and there's like your solar plexus, your sternum is a very important, I guess, reference point or pressure point in martial arts, and like the healing arts too. So it makes sense that would hurt so much. But yeah, it makes me think twice about getting tattoos.
Dude, I don't blame you. I want to get tattooed so bad, but I'm such a bitch about getting them, dude. I shake a lot and I bleed a lot. And I feel like my legs were probably the worst. It feels like a damn steak knife, for sure. But yeah, ever since you showed me that one, I was like, damn, I kind of want like a big ass wolf on my stomach or some shit.
It's kind of like it's kind of like giving yourself a rite of passage,
Yeah, dude.
My uncle was this biker dude. He had a fucking giant demon tattooed on his stomach, and it was all just his stomach. And he said that it was the worst, most intense pain that he had ever felt from a tattoo ever. And he had like fucking like shitty like in a basement tattoos, like RC car motor and a sharpened guitar string and India ink that they stole from art class. And he had these, and those things fucking hurt apparently really bad. And those people don't know what they're doing exactly. They don't know how deep to get the needle. So a lot of times when they do those fucking tattoos, it would just go super deep into the flesh and just fuck them up super bad. So like all of his shit was kind of like smeared looking.
I heard that's an intense art, so maybe he went somewhere shitty.
In like the UK, right? There's like this intense art where they just like keep shading as hard as they can on your body, all black out tattoos. Yeah, we've talked about it before, but it's just like, what the fuck?
But what were you saying?
He said that the pain was so intense getting it done, and then the recovery was even fucking worse because like he would move a lot in his sleep, and every time that he would roll over from his back to his stomach, he would wake up like crying basically in the worst fucking pain that he'd ever been in. Did you have that experience when you would like...
No, it was just the actual tattooing part hurt. Like now I did feel, I mean it hurt for like a good day or so afterwards. I mean, it was like getting in a fight, for sure, and especially because how your body tends, it has a tendency to tense up and stuff. But like as far as I think, that's got to be like how deep they went and like how heavy-handed the tattoo artist must have been. That sounds crazy.
Did you get it all in one session?
No, it was like 3. They did an outline, they did black, and then they did the color, and I thought that like each successive one might be less painful, but all of them sucked. Really,
no, I hear you, man.
To be honest,
it's fucking horrible sometimes getting tattooed, but it's kind of like an addiction. Like as soon as you're done with the tattoo, I'm always like, I could go for another one.
I mean, I have some I have some ideas, but I don't know. it's going to be a while, I think.
What are you trying to get?
After getting the 2 on my sides, I was like, I'm going to take a break for a while because it was so painful.
I kind of want to get some knives on this area.
I'll have fun.
Again. Yeah, that's why it's going to be a while. Yeah.
It sucks.
For the listeners, Paul is pointing to his hips, so he's like...
Right. Well, obliques kind of, or...
Yeah.
Saporn Long, a guest on the show, she did my thigh piece, and a part of it, it already healed up when I just showed it on the show before, but it scabbed up real bad, and it was real sore, and it hurt for like a good 2.5 days.
Yeah.
It was bad, but once the scab healed and it peeled, like everything underneath looked fine, but it felt like it was going to come out fucked up in the end.
Was the scab delicious since it had been seasoned with all the tattooing?
Yeah, you know, when it came off, I just like saved them in like a scab pile.
Is that what you do when it
flaky,
peels?
And then I just like drizzled it on like a toaster strudel.
Put it in a pepper grinder and
just crunch it up. I drizzle it on my steaks for seasoning.
Oh god,
all the peelings from the tattoo.
Yeah, I eat everything that comes off my body.
I've got one more man.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so would you rather, Paul? Let's direct this at you since you're our guest. Paul, would you rather have perma sweaty armpits, like your armpits are constantly sweating and it's profuse? There is just fucking, your shirt is soaked. You can't wear anything without people knowing, and it fucking stinks. Like it's strong BO and shit. I mean, you can wash that smell off, but it's gonna it's gonna keep coming back. Just onions all day.
Okay.
Or
onions.
Onions,
yeah,
bro.
Onions,
yeah, garlic,
onions and ketchup.
Onions, ketchup. I mean, rotten ketchup, not just regular ketchup. Okay, so you've got that going on, or perma uncurable swamp ass, and it itches like super, like the one where you're
armpits hands down.
Armpits
That's
and
easy.
why?
But you have to buy a new shirt.
Who likes itching though? Like who
Yeah,
likes
swamp
itching?
ass.
And swamp ass would feel like the armpits, but it's your ass. And I think people will be more tolerant of armpit disorders than ass disorders. Like nobody's gonna want to get with you if your ass is all messed up. Really, I mean, I think you have a better chance of the armpit thing. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah, what if that booty sweat goes down the crease of the balls and the shaft of the penis and enters the woman, and then she gets some type of like butthole sweat infection.
I mean, you're probably not even going to get that far. I mean, you're going to be disrobing, and they're going to know something's rotten in Denmark, so to speak. So you're not even going to get that far.
Okay, so you would say that's a deal breaker for a relationship, but let's say like it's your wife, and then all of a sudden she develops a problem like that. Like things are gonna be cool, right?
With what? Like
if she develops a butt problem.
Like permanent. Let's
perma butt problems.
Permanent swamp ass.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. If you're already invested in somebody, I mean, you marry the whole person. I mean, you don't just marry
the butt.
The butt. But when you're first,
I'm married to swamp ass too, baby.
Initiating courtship, it probably starts at the butt. So, yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Starts at the butt, ends in the face.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Indeed.
Well, that was very enlightening. Thank you so much for coming on, Paul. It was awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
Fantastic episode. I learned a lot.
Cool, yeah.
Thanks for letting us traumatize you.
Yeah, I could tell. But I'm really glad you came on.
Good.
We learned a lot, and I will definitely be coming back to one of your classes.
Good, yeah.
Where can we follow you?
On Facebook, Red Tiger Martial Arts, Instagram, Red Tiger Martial Arts, and I have a Tumblr too. So if anybody's on Tumblrs,
and if anybody wants to contact you to maybe get involved in a class,
just go and fill out the contact form on redtigerswc.com, or DM me on Instagram. Either way, or get in touch with the fine folks at Bastard Sermon.
Right.
Slide into Paul's DMs for those Wing Chun skills, son.
And it is worth it. I tried it out yesterday. Like I said, definitely go. It is a ton of fun. You learn a lot, and it's very spiritual, like I said, in a way.
That's what it's all about.
It's all about.
All right, guys. Well, we're on YouTube now. Subscribe. Follow us there.
100% get on that shit.
110%. Follow us on the Instagram at the Bastard Sermon and join us for pre-show live shows.
Also, I'm actually taking care of the Twitter now, so we're gonna have to scrap that old outro where Pat fucks up the reads. It'll be sad to see it go, but you can follow us on Twitter at Bastard Sermon. Some fuckhead took the from us. Okay, is there anything else we have to plug before we get out?
Thank you again, Rachel, for joining us. You're always great.
Always a pleasure.
And all right, well, fuck yeah. See you later.
Guys next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for...
Are you fucking serious, Patrick? Thank you for listening to another episode of the Bastard Sermon. Luke's going to give you a whole list of places where you can find and follow and listen to us while Patrick sits here in agonizing, crushing embarrassment.
You can follow the Bastard Sermon at Bastard Sermon on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram at the Bastard Sermon. If you want to listen to more episodes of the Bastard Sermon, we are on Stitcher, Player FM, Libsyn, iTunes, Castbox, and now recently we are on RockStarsGlued3.0.com. Check them out.
Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that shit.
But don't go to Twitter because we never update that shit because we don't give a fuck about Twitter.
Yeah,
fuck you, Twitter.
Yeah.
As of now.
All
but
right.
that could change. At the Bastard Sermon. And if you really want to go to the Twitter and make that shit happen, it's at Bastard Sermon because some fuckhead took the from us. All right.
That cunt.
That does it. Anything else we need? Did you tell them we're on Spotify now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Let's go. Bye.
See ya, bitches.